Clarifying personal values and communicating this to others in an authentic way is important for leadership. We asked leaders in development for advice on how to do this successfully.
Some advice that I'd give to developing leaders is to remember that I strongly believe that none of us actually follow our manager or follow our leader simply because it's our job. Whereas I am convinced that pretty much everybody wants to believe in their leader, wants to believe in their manager. And so the role of the manager is to share their vision, to give them something to believe in, to give them someone to believe in. Now, your biggest kind of selling point to your own staff is what it is that motivates you. You know, is it a passion for people? Is it injustice, an anger against injustice? You know, is it a desire to build the best team possible? Is it a spiritual calling? You know, this is what frames who you are and what you can share about yourself that allows other people to gravitate towards that. You know, your vision and their belief in your integrity in that vision is what can then build their confidence in the direction that their team is going. It's what validates their efforts, that they're trying to move towards something that is a bigger shared vision. So the best thing a manager can do is let that motivation permeate through their communications with their staff. You know, the informal communications, the more presentation style communications, let that come out.
So for developing leaders, clarifying personal values, I suppose I fit into that category because I am developing as a leader, and throughout that process I had to clarify my values. I think that can be best illustrated with actions rather than what we say as well. So when we're looking for leaders, or even in ourselves, what is really important to us, we can see what we spend the most time on, or even what we spend our money on, and who we surround ourselves with. For my own experience, going from being a corporate lawyer, changing to education, I think that speaks to how much I really value the transformative power of education and how much I wanted to work and be committed to this field. And I think when I'm meeting people or talking to them about my own personal story, I think they can see that the values of, you know, egalitarianism and opportunities for all, and wanting to be more committed to social justice is shown through my own story of changing careers.
In terms of advice that I would give developing leaders on how they can clarify their personal values, one of the key things I say is live your values. You cannot separate the individual from a value that you share. Values are expressed or are seen in terms of how we live them. So I cannot walk into the office on Monday morning and pack my values and pick up different values on Monday for the workplace. And then at 5 o'clock when I'm leaving, I leave the office values and pick up others. And this for me goes very hand in hand, or very close to also your career and where you're engaged, where you're working. It would be very conflicting for you as an individual to work somewhere or work for an organization or a company that doesn't believe in the same values as you do. I get it that at times that when we are looking for jobs, it comes to, or opportunities to engage, or employment opportunities or business opportunities, it comes down to you need something now, you need something to enhance your livelihoods. And that's okay. However, I do encourage people you really need to self-reflect. If it's about an employer, the employer's values need to be in line with your values, because it will be very difficult for you to live a conflicting life, serving different values with the employer and having different values as an individual when you go home. So for me, the best way is to live them, express them, live by your example. So if you do say that it's important for you to hear out the other person when they speak, practice that in the office. When you're in team meetings, take a step back and listen to the other person. So there's no other way, a better way that I would encourage people to clarify their own values if it's not living them. So again, actions actions speak louder than words. If I do say that I'm committed to supporting community members grow or having the opportunity to express themselves better, then when it comes to programming as well, like for us who are in the development sector, we need to give that opportunity to community members to be able to speak up or grow or speak for themselves, leave the project by themselves, deliver the project for themselves, instead of saying one thing and doing the other. So for me, it just comes down to actions speak louder than words. Your values need to be embodied in your everyday actions, and you cannot separate the person at home from the person in the office.
Yeah, I think one example I'll give you is while I was working in Jordan, so I had 2 junior officers who I was their direct supervisor, and they were new to the profession. They had worked as journalists before, or they had worked with small nonprofits, but nothing at the scale that we needed them at that job. But, sorry. So when they were brought on board, the first thing I did was to become their friend. That was my methodology, and I've used this in different parts of the world, in different jobs, different positions, but to become their friend. So my personal values will be best communicated when they treat me as a friend and as a colleague, not as a boss or a supervisor. So when they were brought on board, they were always hesitant. They had not worked overseas. One of them had traveled to maybe Egypt once in their lives. They had no international experience. So they were very hesitant and laid back and, not stepping up. So my methodology was to, okay, I'll become friends with you. I'll get to know who you are. Don't pressurize them into accomplishing anything or doing anything, but actually sitting with them, training them, mentoring them into doing the job. Once that phase had taken place, then I said, okay, now we need to accomplish this. These are our deadlines. This is how you should make your personal weekly plans and monthly plans. This is how you create timesheets and, all those technical things that we need to do for our job. But the best way to communicate was to become their friend and talk in a transparent and friendly manner.